Welcome back, everyone, to the Bears Probable Plays YouTube channel. Today is Friday, July 12th, and I'm back breaking down 6 total plays for tonight's slate of games. We're going to be looking at the Philadelphia Phillies going up against the Oakland Athletics as the first play of the day. Then we're going to be looking at the best play of the day, a match between the Chicago Cubs and the St. Louis Cardinals. The 2 total game picks today, as well as 4 player props, and the 2 best player props being towards the end of the video. I hope everybody enjoys their Friday today, and let's break down some ball. All right, guys, let's get into this graphic from Thursday night. Only one game has finished. The Pittsburgh Pirates that we picked going up against the Brewers. The Pirates, they did win on the money line. I was at work. I was listening to it through the earbuds. But controversy with Paul Skeens having a no-hitter through 7 innings, 99 pitches, a rookie. You guys make the call. My call is he's on the Pittsburgh Pirates. I don't know how long his contract is, 2, 3, 4 years. Odds of him being on the Pittsburgh Pirates in 3 years are less than 1% in my opinion, because the Yankees and the Dodgers are going to throw $250, $350 million at him, and he's not going to be on the Pirates for long. So if I'm the Pirates organization, I'm letting him stay in for the no-hitter. Like, why would we not? He shut down the Brewers, and then a reliever came in. He gave up back-to-back hits, and he had the bases loaded with 1 out, but he finally got out of the inning, and Paul Skeens did get the win. But if I'm the Pirates organization, I'm just letting Paul Skeens do his thing. If he wants to pitch, let him pitch. If he doesn't want to pitch, don't let him pitch, because the odds are he's not going to be your ace for more than 3 seasons. So that's just my take on it. You guys can be the judge of that one. But I did have O'Neal Cruz over 1.5 bases. I saw he got a single in the first at-bat, and I basically already counted as a loss because, as you guys know, 90% of the time you get a single in the first at-bat. You will not go over 1.5 bases. We still do have Logan O'Hoppe tonight over 1.5 base against the Mariners. For the graphic plays, the best plays of the day, Mariners and the Angels under 8.5 runs. Tyler Anderson's not going to be in that game. I saw it this morning. It's going to be Jack, and I'm not even going to try the last name because I'm going to get it wrong on the pronunciation. But he is a rookie. He's making his first start. I did see he went 9 innings in 2 of the last 3 games in Double-A. So maybe he'll come up here against the Mariners and shut them down. We've got Aaron Judge over 1.5 base going up against Tampa Bay, and then Nestor Cortez over 2.5 runs going up against the Tampa Bay Rays as well. So those plays are still intact. Let's take a look at the leaderboard from a couple nights ago. It is updated. Took a couple losses on the game pick side, 1 loss on the player prop side. Still 11-10 over the last 7, so we do need to win some games. We at least need to have a winning day today, go 2-1 in the best bets to stay above 500 for the next 7 days. So let's take a look at the plays for tomorrow. We're going to be looking at the Oakland Athletics going up against the Philadelphia Phillies. The Phillies have been back to their normal selves that we saw earlier this season with everybody healthy in that lineup. In the series against the Dodgers that they just played, they took the first 2 games away from them pretty easily. I haven't seen the outcome of the game on Thursday night because I'm recording earlier, but this team's been rolling lately, so I do expect them to win that game. They are going to have their best arm on the mound in this game, who has struggled a little bit over the last couple games, but I am going to trust Ranger Suarez to shut down the Athletics. I'm going to play the Phillies here on the run line, minus 1.5 as the play. I'm going to start with Ranger Suarez because over the last 2 games, it has been very strange watching him pitch. This was, in my mind, the no-doubt Cy Young for this season in the NL, but over the last 2 games, everything has changed. He's given up 11 runs and 16 hits to the Braves and the Miami Marlins. His once 1.36 ERA, it's now sitting at 2.58 with a 1.20 whip. And those numbers are still very good on the season, but something has definitely changed for him over the last 2 games, especially in that game against the Marlins. This was a guy who was dominating teams, giving up 2 runs or less basically every single game. And then against one of the worst teams in baseball, he goes out there and gives up 10 hits and 6 runs. He had no strikeouts in that game as well. And then he backed that up by giving up 5 runs on 6 hits to the Braves. He desperately needs a bounce-back spot, and he's going to get a very good chance to do it going up against the Athletics, who have been trending down over the last month. I still think Ranger Suarez is one of the best pitchers in baseball. He just needs to get his confidence back. I do think this is going to be a confidence builder going up against the A's. The Philadelphia Phillies will also be getting a really good matchup going up against Luis Medina, who has actually had some pretty good starts in back-to-back games, but he's still coming in with a 4.37 ERA. These guys are the exact opposite. Luis Medina having really good starts over the last 2 games, and Ranger Suarez having 2 really bad starts over the last 2 games. The only difference between these two has been Luis Medina has been really bad all season long, and Ranger Suarez has been really good all season long. Luis Medina has given up 4+ runs in 3 of the last 6 games, and I don't expect him to pitch well in this one going up against the fighting Phils. Philadelphia, they're one of the best hitting teams in baseball all season long, and now they've got everybody back in that lineup. They're at full strength. It's almost impossible to get through this team without giving up a couple runs. They hit extremely well on both sides of the plate. They have a batting average above 255 on both sides, and the Philadelphia Phillies are also the 4th best hitting team in baseball against right-handed pitching. And if you take the at-bats that the Philadelphia Phillies have had compared to other teams, they are the best scoring team in baseball, producing runs against right-handed pitching as well. Medina has struggled before this season. He's going to struggle again in this game. I'm going to take Ranger Suarez to shut them down in a big way as well. Give me the Philadelphia Phillies here, minus 1.5 on the run line as the play. For the player props on the screen, we're going to play Kyle Schwarber to go over 1.5 bases. and I wouldn't be surprised at all if we see a Schwarber in this game. Luis Medina, he has been giving up a lot of hits all season long, giving up 1 hit per inning, and he has given up 5+ hits in 6 of the last 7 games as well. It didn't take long for Kyle Schwarber to pick up where he left off coming back from that injury. He's had a couple hits in the first 2 games back. He's also added a home run over the first 2 games back against the Dodgers on Wednesday night. Whenever Kyle Schwarber goes up against right-handed pitching, he typically hits for power, having 15 extra base hits, including 10 home runs off of 33 hits on the right side. He does have a much better batting average against left-handed pitching, but that's because Kyle Schwarber, much like Ohtani, he slows his swing down. He goes for contact with a left-on-left matchup. He's going to be swinging for the fences in this game, and whenever Luis Medina does make the mistake, Kyle Schwarber is going to make him pay. Give me Kyle Schwarber over 1.5 bases as the play there. For the best play of the day, we are going to be looking at a match between the Chicago Cubs and the St. Louis Cardinals. And if you ask me how well these teams were doing over the last 30 games, I'd probably say they've both been brutally bad. But apparently the St. Louis Cardinals have been playing some pretty good baseball, even though I feel like they lose every single night. It doesn't feel like the Cardinals have been winning a lot. They've won 18 of the last 30 games. I think that's going to continue in this game, but I'm going to take the team total over for the Cardinals as the best play of the day. This is going to be a fantastic match for everybody on the St. Louis Cardinals getting to go up against Kyle Hendricks, who I have stressed concern about all season long. 6 or 7 years ago, Kyle Hendricks, he thrived in the MLB because he didn't need to have a 95-mile-per-hour fastball to be great. You technically still don't need that now, but with the way Kyle has been pitching over the last year, he's been getting beaten up because his fastball is barely touching 90. He's also dealing with not being able to go very deep at all in these games. He's been pulled in the last 2 games very early against the Brewers and the Angels. He's only made it 5 2/3 innings over the last 2 games, giving up 9 runs and 11 hits. And I have to assume at some point we're going to see him go down to AAA or get put in the bullpen, and that's going to end his career for good. He is coming into this game with a 7.53 ERA and a 1.58 whip, and those are his worst numbers of his career by a large margin. And it is sad. I'm sure we've got a lot of Cubs fans who love Kyle Hendricks. I'm sure he's a great guy, but he doesn't have the stuff anymore to be a starting pitcher in the MLB. I think we're going to see him struggle once again in this game going up against the Cardinals, who have been very good over the last several games. There is a chance that Kyle also doesn't pitch in this game. He's dealing with what they're calling lower back tightness in the last game against the Angels. You can call it what you want, but he was getting rocked against the Angels, and they eventually pulled him. He's currently projected to start in this game. I hope he does play so we can take the Cardinals team total over. And the Cardinals, they do hit well against right-handed pitching this season. They've got a 253 team batting average. That's just below the Philadelphia Phillies this season, sitting in the 5 spot. So we should see a lot of runs scored in this game by the Cardinals. If you're looking for a game pick aside, I would lean towards the St. Louis Cardinals. Take them on the first 5 if you do anything. Do yourself a favor. Take the bullpens out of this game. Just focus on Kyle Hendricks and Lance Lynn. Lance Lynn should easily win this matchup going up against Kyle Hendricks, even though he's coming off an absolute ass-kicking by the hands of my Nationals, which was really fun to watch in the last game. He gave up 11 runs to the Washington Nationals in his last start, giving up 9 hits. He only went 2 2/3 innings. Not sure why we can't hit like that every single game, but he is now coming in with an ERA of 4.48 on the year. But before that, he was pitching very well, having back-to-back games, 1 run or less against the Reds and the Braves. If you want to side for the game, take the Cardinals here on the first 5. But for myself, and for the best play of the day, I'm taking the over 4.5 team total for the Redbirds. For the player props on the screen, we're just going to be taking one. It's going to be Paul Goldschmidt over 1.5 bases. Paul, he just keeps on grinding this season, coming into this game, collecting at least 1 hit in 8 of the last 9 games. His batting average has hovered around 220 to 240 over the last couple months, but he's still getting himself on base a lot over the last 10 games. This is not only going to be a friendly matchup for him, but it's also going to be a familiar matchup for him because he sees Kyle Hendricks a lot in his career. These two have faced off in 17 total games, and Paul Goldschmidt has recorded at least 1 hit in 11 of those 17 games, with most of them coming in these years with the St. Louis Cardinals over the last 3 or 4 years. We do have the right-on-right matchup, and Paul Goldschmidt, while he hasn't been great this season, he does have 19 extra base hits against the right side, having all of his power against right-handed pitching. I expect another extra base hit out of Goldie in this game. I'm taking him over 1.5 bases as the play here. For the best player props of the day, we are going to start with Pete Alonso, the polar bear, to go over 1.5 bases going up against the Rockies. The Rockies, they're going to be throwing out Tanner Gordon on the mound in this game against the Mets. That name might not sound very familiar because he's only had 1 big league start in his career this season with the Rockies. In that 1 game, it was a loss. He's coming in with a 7.11 ERA. He went up against the Kansas City Royals. He gave up 8 hits, 5 runs, 2 home runs, but he was still able to go 6+ innings. And I know what you're thinking. 5 runs is a lot of runs to give up. But if you've seen any Colorado Rockies game this season, the best option for that organization was probably to leave him in for as long as he could because the Rockies bullpen, they would have just gave up more runs. The Rockies bullpen over the last 2 seasons, they might be the worst bullpen we've ever seen in Major League history. But Tanner, he's now going to get a matchup going up against the Mets and the Polar Bear, who's coming into this game with a 240 batting average, and he hasn't hit a home run in 9 consecutive games, make it 10 consecutive games after today's game. This is going to be a left against right matchup, and Pete Alonso, he does have a little bit better numbers against lefties this year, and whenever you're looking at the splits for Pete Alonso, he does prefer left-handed pitching, having 13 extra base hits with 90 at-bats against lefties, having 26 extra base hits and 256 at-bats against the right side. If he got the same attempts on both sides of the plate, he would have somewhere in the ballpark of 20 doubles and 18 home runs against lefty this season if the numbers were to stay the same. So I do like him in this game. I like the left-handed matchup. I'm going to take him against the rookie over 1.5 bases as the best play of the day. For the pitching prop today, we are going to be looking at a match between the Braves and the Padres, and we're going to take Spencer Schwellenbach to go over 2.5 runs. This is Spencer's rookie season as well for the Atlanta Braves, and he has had some good games mixed in with some bad games this year. He's coming in with a 5.02 ERA, and he's also coming off a pretty good start against the Philadelphia Phillies, where he just gave up 1 run on 7 hits, going 6 innings in that game. That, however, was not against the Philadelphia Phillies that we're seeing right now. They had multiple injuries during that start for Spencer. I'm not trying to take anything away from him from that start, but having a quality start against a good team doesn't really count if that team is missing their 3 best players. We have seen Spencer get knocked around this season. He's given up 4+ runs in 3 of his 6 games so far this year. And I do think we're going to see him getting knocked around in this game coming up against the Padres, who have the best batting average in baseball against right-handed pitching. I was talking about the Philadelphia Phillies against right-handed pitching earlier because they have the 4th best batting average of anybody in the major leagues. But the matchup that Spencer's getting tonight against the Padres is going to be his toughest test of the season because the Padres have the best batting average against right-handed pitching this season. They have a 272 batting average, and that's a very wide margin from first to second. 329 runs, 316 RBIs, 612 hits on the Padres against right-handed pitching. All of those numbers, they are top 5 this year, with the batting average being the number 1 overall. And you can expect this to be a death by 1,000 paper cuts because the Padres, they have 427 singles of their 612 hits this year against right-handed pitching. I expect the base to be jammed in this game for the rookie, and we're going to see how well he's going to handle that. I think he's going to handle it poorly. I'm going to take the over 2.5 runs here as the best play of the day. All right, let's go over to the recap graphic. We're going to take the Phillies here, minus 1.5. Ranger Suarez going up against the Athletics. We've got Kyle Schwarber in this game, over 1.5 bases going up against the Athletics as well. And then Paul Goldschmidt getting the matchup against Kyle Hendricks, over 1.5 bases. We're going to take the Cardinals team total over 4.5 runs against Kyle Hendricks. Hopefully he does start. We've got Spencer Schwellenbach, over 2.5 runs going up against the best team in baseball against right-handed pitching in the San Diego Padres. And then Pete Alonso getting the matchup against Gordon, the rookie, over 1.5 bases. Sprinkle on a home run for that one as well. Pete is well overdue. That's going to do it for the MLB picks and props for Friday, July 12th slate of games. If you guys enjoyed the content, please sure to drop a like in this video and subscribe channel below. See you guys next video, and thanks for watching.